Welcome to the Big D as players gear up for the Byron Nelson Championship.
Welcome to the latest edition of PGA Tour Today.
Deep in the heart of Texas, the HP Byron Nelson Championship celebrates the life and legacy of one of the game's most respected gentlemen, Lord Byron. Hello, I'm McMurry. The HP Byron Nelson Championship was the first official event on tour named after a player. A tour event since 1944, the Dallas area tournament has a deep history with some of golf's greatest champions, starting with Nelson and including Sam Snead, Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, and Tom Watson, and more recently, Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson, who have taken home the Dallas title. Mickelson was scheduled to make his 14th start in the event, but withdrew early Wednesday and has suspended his schedule indefinitely after his wife Amy was diagnosed with breast cancer. The treatment process is expected to begin possibly within the next 2 weeks, which would mean he won't defend his Crowne Plaza Invitational title next week in Fort Worth. This week's defending champion, Adam Scott, begins his title defense at 1:29 p.m. Eastern. The 28-year-old Aussie has 6 PGA Tour titles, and despite struggling with his game in recent months, he's attempting to become the first player in 29 years to successfully win back-to-back titles in Dallas. Scott Verplank won in 2007, 7 months after his mentor Byron Nelson passed away. The Dallas native is making his 23rd start in the HP Byron Nelson Championship. He is the tournament's all-time earnings leader with 8 top 25s in Dallas. Traditionally, Texans have not fared well in this event, with just 2 other Texas natives winning the Byron Nelson since 1965. But that doesn't mean they're not trying. Verplank is playing with Rory Sabatini in the first 2 rounds, who also makes his stateside home in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. He has 1 top 10 at TPC Four Seasons Las Colinas in 10 starts and is one of 23 players with ties to this area of the Lone Star State looking to claim Nelson's title. Dallas native and resident Justin Leonard has 2 top 10s in 15 starts, and the local product enters the week off a tie for 5th at last week's Valero Texas Open. Leonard tees off at 1:38 p.m. Eastern. Dallas resident Anthony Kim, who was in contention in 2007 going into the weekend, begins his trophy quest at 8:53 Thursday morning. Corey Pavin also resides in Dallas, and he's trying to make history this week in his 22nd start in the event. Pavin has won 3 of the 4 PGA Tour tournaments held in the big state, but no player has ever won the Texas Grand Slam, all 4. But that could change this week as Pavin looks to become the first to perform the feat with a victory in his hometown. Rich Beam is also hard at work this week for a greater cause. The 2002 PGA Championship winner launched a fundraiser called Beam for Beam, which for every birdie he makes over the next 2 weeks in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, he will donate $100 to the Dallas Cowboys scouting coach Rich Beam, who was paralyzed from the waist down after the recent collapse of the Cowboys practice facility. You can make a pledge as well. Just look for the Beam for Beam link on PGATour.com. Bob Stevens is part of the on-site team covering the HP Byron Nelson Championship for the PGA Tour Network on Sirius XM Radio. We go to him for a report from the course.
Win this year's HP Byron Nelson Championship has a completely different feel, and they haven't hit the first tee ball yet. First of all, there's the date on the calendar and the change in the weather. With the tournament back into May, no need for overseed. It's warmer, it's Bermuda grass. Corey Pavin telling me that the ball will run out of the fairways a little bit more and might not be as easy for the players to hit out of because it won't sit up on the top of that overseeded rye. Now, there's also the field. Well, last week's winner, Zach Johnson, was already playing well and was able to defend his championship down in San Antonio. It might just be a minor miracle if Adam Scott is able to do the same up here, as of course he has missed his last 5 cuts and is really kind of scuffling along with his game. The big difference, though, in feeling is the one of family this week. After hearing about Phil Mickelson, his wife Amy, and their battle with her breast cancer, there's a little bit of a pall cast over this proceedings as these guys stop to think about their own situations, and these guys who will beat on each other for the next 4 days stop to think of themselves as part of the tour's family. Completely different feeling, and we'll see how it plays out over the next 4 days.
Thank you, Bob. In addition to radio coverage on Sirius XM Radio beginning at noon Eastern, tune into the Golf Channel Thursday for first round action beginning at 3.